Classic. First place, missing the squeeze that I want. It's not even a hard squeeze, man. Just... Oh, right. Forgot about this shit. Those ticks are so bad, but at least held on to 0.6. I honestly have no idea what happened at the end of that solo whammy. I thought I pretty much did flub the execution on my end. I just, in terms of like muscle memory. But yeah, I thought in accordance to that I just completely screwed the whammy also. I lost a ton of ticks there, which was another reason I was almost sure my whammy was terrible, but I guess it was just enough. My front end was pretty crazy for the post solo act, so yeah. And then my last act, pretty much I expected to be terrible after hitting the post solo act, but that was even worse than I thought it would be. I don't know. It's really hard to get back in sync after doing that pause act. Honestly, I'm just happy I didn't choke. But yeah, so that post solo act, I'm pretty sure that is like not even a tight timing, which I know sounds weird from how many times I missed it. You'll probably only see like a couple of them in the pre-roll, whatever, but when I was just finishing out runs that I missed in the solo, which were mainly on the practice ISO, I was just doing runs through the song on there because I didn't have the cheat set up. But yeah, and you know, getting whammy for that last act, which is really the hard part, is a lot easier when you're not on an FC, obviously. So that plays a huge part in it. But I was hitting that act no problem with like what felt like a lot of leniency. So sucks that it was giving me so much trouble on FC runs, but that's how it goes. That's squeezing for you. And you know, the whammy for it is basically why I assume this hasn't been gotten before, or at least like discussed as possible. You can hear my strumming. I do a break in the final descending triplet strums leading into the whammy, where I basically continue the first triplet, the orange, blue, yellow, off the end of the previous sequence that ends on an up strum. And after that first triplet, I do a break, like in between measures at the beginning of the solo. And I do that to make the red that starts the sequence end on a down strum, because I always have to start whammies on down strums, basically. Especially one like that, man. That whammy is so small. So if you want any decent whammy off that, you have to go into it with some plan of attack, some kind of setup. So yeah, in that respect, I understand why this act wasn't gotten or discussed, at least in the score hero and Moose's video description. Which, thank God for that, because I would have no idea what I was doing path-wise without that video. I mean, I could piece together, sort of, from Kev's old video, but yeah, this song, as far as I know, doesn't have a path on Slow Hero or anything. But yeah, anyway, when I was first going for that post-solo act, I was activating on the red-yellow instead of the red-blue that I adjusted to. But I felt like I had so much leniency hitting that act on the red-orange back end that I was even trying to move it back to the red before the chord. I never got that. It might not be possible, probably isn't. I don't know. The end of the solo whammy is really fucked up, so it's just very hard to tell. After this whole session of just trying to get the squeeze, I'm leaning more towards no, but you know, just anecdotal. Doesn't really matter too much. But even if another 200 there isn't possible, I'm almost positive 250k is possible on this. Just crazy. Another 200 on the second act, which I wasn't going for multiple reasons. The first is just that I really dislike playing this song up until the solo. I dislike playing the whole thing. But yeah, the whole chord sequences until the solo, and especially that little mini solo during the second act, just very irritating to play for me. So adding a really hard front end on top of that makes that harder to time. And if you miss the back end, it's minus 200 from not going for it. Also, you severely increase your chances of missing on the whammy by pushing that to its max. And yeah, it just, there's many reasons, aside from not being consistent with the solo, and especially the post-solo acts on these runs at least, why I didn't go for that. The other 200 would be a double in the solo. I'm pretty sure that would be a standard double in this game, as in 2 frame window, which is ridiculous, and also trying to do any kind of extended hit window shenanigans in the solo, and even just abuse the back end. Hitting it early would be a nightmare. But yeah, almost positive there are 400 more points between those two acts. If not, again, another 200 on the post solo. Either way, I just happy to have gotten this for the new squeeze, even though ticks are fucking garbage. But this is something I've been practicing on and off for quite a while, trying to get consistent with it, and especially practicing the end of the solo for that whammy setup. But yeah, transitioning into runs, everything went pretty smooth in terms of solo consistency, aside from that ending sequence after the solo act ends. For some reason, I just bombed that over and over and over again and could not find consistency with it. Pretty frustrating, but at least it all worked out alright.